Hi, have you ever wondered why is it that when somebody is espousing really weird ideas online, we usually tell that person to touch grass? I think most of us have an intuitive understanding of why is that the case. We are essentially suggesting that said person has a disconnect with reality, but I think it's interesting to understand why is that the case. And it is my belief that it boils down to the fact that there are essentially two ways of knowing something. You can have an intellectual understanding, and you can have what one might call real practical knowledge of it. And those are two very different things. We, as humans, especially in modern society, tend to value intellectual understanding a lot because we rightly credit it with humanity's conquering of the world. But the fact is that as our logical and rational knowledge of things increases and the perceived value it has to us increases as well, what seems to be happening is that we are more and more forgetting the other type of knowing that is possible to have. And that is especially the case now with the internet and us spending more and more time behind screens. Because the truth of it is that while we can learn online or in books concepts and ideas about the world is so developed our intellectual understanding, we can't get that practical sense of being alive and knowing yourself and the world that is more intuitive. And when we forsake that side of understanding, we forsake a big part of what makes us human. And I think that can be clearly seen when we think about certain activities that foster that more intuitive type of knowledge. For example, a person can practice martial arts, and sure, that may develop their confidence and contact with themselves because they know that they can back whatever they say with a fight, but it goes beyond that because that confidence applies even in scenarios where you can't realistically fight anyone. Another interesting example, I think, is rock climbing. I used to practice it for a while. I stopped for some time now, but I noticed two things. One was that as I practiced it, my fear of heights lessened, and you can say, sure, that makes sense. But I noticed this, I don't know if it's courageousness or lack of fear, that would be the better description, but my fear of my own intrusive thoughts, of like being seen for having them or eventually giving in to them, be that jumping from a bridge or something, was also lessened. And often it had nothing to do with heights. So why is that? It's because I was much more in contact with my body, my senses, and how I would react in certain scenarios. So I knew I could trust my body and I knew I could trust my mind to do whatever is it that I believed would be the right thing. And another very interesting example, I think it's surfing. I only had one class of surfing and I'm not a surfer, but we have that image of the surfer as this calm and confident person. And though some could surely claim that has more to do with a sort of selection bias. I think it goes much beyond that. I think that's the case because when you're surfing, you are not thinking of what you should do then and trying to know what's the logical best path to take to continue and not fall. You're just feeling and trusting yourself to do whatever it is that you need to do. So you have that more real, intimate contact with reality that is not mediated through rational thought. And that sort of experience is very much the experience of being alive and is what is necessary for us to develop that second type of understanding that is at least as important as intellectual knowledge. And why is that so important? I think this explanation has two sides as well. One is a simple question of well being. I think if you have that part of your life taken care of, life will feel more meaningful, happier, less anxious, and that's a good thing. Everybody wants to live like that. But also, it makes us more reliable. Like, because if you don't feel like you can trust your senses, because everything you learn through other people or through reading, then you won't be able to trust your senses. And if you can't trust your senses, you have to rely on other people. So you will always be looking to other people to tell you what you should feel, how you should act, and what you should do. And that will make you sort of a pushover. And that can be dangerous for you because people will be able to take advantage of you more easily. But it will also be dangerous for other people because if you are a pushover, you can be manipulated more easily, and that can lead you to either harming in some way people that you care or freaking out in panic situations. And when lots of people start freaking out together, it can be very dangerous for anyone that is nearby. So it is very important for us, for anyone, to take care and try to develop this stronger sense of reality, because if you don't, your life won't be as good, and your contributions to society and the people that you care about also won't be as good. And that's what I had for today, and I hope you enjoyed. And I hope I will see you on the next one. Bye.